and welcome back to our channel. I'm Acacia.
And I'm Michael.
And this is our kitten Rusks.
We've been traveling in South Africa for the last 2.5 years and we wanted to share our story with you.
We're going to be going through how we hit the road from living in a house to moving onto the road full time. So let's take you right back to the start in 2020.
We were both studying in Durban at the time. I was studying cinematography.
And I was doing a photography course, and during that time we made it a mission to try camp as often as we could. We both really enjoyed the outdoors, so every weekend or so we would go out somewhere. Hello, welcome back to vlog number 6. For the past few weeks we've been back in Durban at Varsity, so we just decided to come up to a place called Eagles View for the weekend.
So we just got to Eagles View and we've got this whole campsite to ourselves this weekend, which is absolutely insane. We started together camping, so we had nothing at all. On our first camping trip we went via a marketplace detour, picked up a 500 rand tent and hit the road with just the tent. And yeah, each time we went on a camping mission we got one new item. It was very low budget. We had next to nothing because we were studying. We weren't working at that time, but yeah, we wanted to camp and be outdoors when we could.
After our studies, we moved back to our hometown, East London, and we rented out a house there.
Yeah, this was a 3-month plan or so. Keisha had like an internship with a very much corporate job. So we got her foot in that, and then yeah, we didn't know what our plan was after that.
Throughout our camping trips, we started to figure out something called van life. We were consuming everything on Instagram and YouTube, people living this lifestyle, and we thought that it would be a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, so we looked at all the layouts, all the different vans, the different sizes, and yeah, just scoured the internet for vans in South Africa. There aren't many of these panel vans around, unfortunately. So I was looking every single day on all the platforms, trying to find a van. Our budget was very, very small. We couldn't really budge on that as we were just starting from nothing basically. So yeah, we looked for how long, like 6-7 months?
Yeah.
Every day basically, and we eventually decided that we couldn't just keep looking, you know.
And one day Michael suggested that we looked at upgrading the vehicle that we had to something that we could afford. So at the time we had a little Getz, its name was Olaf, and we decided to upgrade to a Suzuki Jimny, which was 4x4, so we thought it would be able to take us a bit more adventurous places.
Yeah, so it was a great decision in the end.
Yeah.
We had got a lot of fun out of that little car. But yeah, that wasn't our goal. It wasn't to get a new car, it was to get a van, but we couldn't afford it at the time, so we just had to take that step. It was a step forward in the right direction. It wasn't the end goal, but yeah, it was.
One of the highlight trips for us from the Jimny was a trip to the Transkei. We went to Wild Labanzi and tested out the 4x4 properly for the first time together.
Yeah, it was actually quite a magical one because we were up on the hill and there was this beautiful sunset, and I actually snapped a photo and entered into a competition, the Eastern Cape Tourism Competition, and it won us a 30,000 rand trip around, well, in the Eastern Cape. So that gave us another like push to see what's out in the country, you know.
We'll get to that a little bit more further on in the video.
And about 2 months into our stay in East London, we were told that the house we were staying in was going on the market and we weren't allowed to stay in it anymore.
We weren't sure what to do. We were actually looking at other houses and flats to rent out, but
in East London, that is,
yeah. But ultimately we decided to hit the road, as we had a job on the opposite side of the country, so we thought we'd make a whole road trip out of it.
Yeah, one job took us a month onto the road. We just kind of used the money from that job and just put it towards travel. It was a choice that we made to see how far that could go. And on that road trip we went to Transkei, KZN, Sodwana. We went diving for the first time. We got caught in snow. So it was so enjoyable, and we ended up extending that trip by a few days because we just enjoyed it so much and we weren't that excited or keen to get back home yet, well, East London.
Yeah, we just wanted to extend our time on the road. A lot of people have questioned how we could fit all our belongings into a Suzuki Jimny, and quite a few months before hitting the road we actually started selling off our things that we weren't using, looking around the house what we didn't need anymore, and keeping only what we really did want.
Yeah, and just minimizing on buying things. Don't buy chocolate every single time you go to shops. Don't eat out supper, just eat at home. It's just as good. It costs way more on eating out. And it's just have to do it for that short amount of period until you break into that amount where you can get what you were looking at doing.
We camped here at Albert Falls Dam and we thought we would show you around our campsite. Over here we have our 2011 Jimny. We built this platform just before we left to help us with packing. And then over here we've got our water. In here we usually slot our fridge, which is outside at the moment. And then down here we've got these 2 solar panels which we use for our lights at night. And then most nights we braai, otherwise we've got a gas cooker as an alternative. Outside here is our workstation as well as living area, and then we've got our 50-litre National Lunar fridge. Down here we've got food boxes as well as miscellaneous, which is just pots and mugs and things. And then our tent, also our bedroom. And then the last purchase before our trip was our awning. Since our last one got taken out by the winds, we put our fridge.
After about our first month and a bit on the road, we decided to head back towards the Eastern Cape. We had a wedding there that we had scheduled before all this all happened. So we headed back, shot the wedding, and then we had planned to go on that 30k road trip that we spoke about earlier.
So we planned to do a loop right around the Eastern Cape border. We were looking for off the beaten track remote Airbnbs that were quirky and adventurous to get there.
I think we went to around 10 or so in the month and a half on the road. We made it our mission to try and make these accommodations more found for the people that were following us.
Throughout this time on the road we realized that South Africa really has so much to offer, so we wanted to figure out how we could continue doing this full time, but we're not too sure yet how.
If you're keen to see what we do next in our travels and what our next step was, subscribe below and see you guys in the next one.